Hello, this is Galdoc, and we are playing Factorio. The expansion pack we're playing with right now is Space Exploration, and we have some quality of life mods installed. So tonight we are going to do some stuff, and it will be fun. What stuff, you ask? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. Right now, our pollution cloud is getting near some more biter nests. We had a disaster last time where we lost the armada. No, but then we just built a new armada. And I think I have another one being prepared right now. Not too far, actually. So that's good. We have a lot of stuff set up, but we are about to run out of resources in some of our patches. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be tearing down the science production section because, frankly, this was a little bit low on the production side, and we're going to continue setting up the bus properly, I should say. So I'm going to have a lot of setups for regular motors, electric motors, and green circuits to start with. Later on down the bus, that's where I'm going to start doing the stuff with red circuits and the more advanced stuff, the more advanced bus materials. I've listed most of them out here with these little combinators. Honestly, not all of them are needed anymore, but these are still pretty good. These help me stay organized and basically ensure that I'm not going to put the wrong thing in the wrong belt. So you can see I've got stuff like regular motors, I've got stuff like electric motors, green circuits, red circuits, blue circuits, and flying robot frames, which normally I wouldn't bus, but I find it's just easier for this particular thing. We'll see if I end up busing them in the long run. If I don't, well, I just have an extra belt lane. As far as how I'm going to work my bus, it's going to be 4 blocks of 6, which are going to be undergroundies with red, so that way it'll work fine. The thought there being that by the time I hit blue, I'm going to do something that isn't this kind of a bus, like I'll be doing something else. But we'll see. I'm actually not sure. What I do know is that I'm going to be doing in-place upgrades for as long as I can with this. I'm going to have 2 belts of iron and 2 belts of copper, which might not seem like enough, but I'm going to be taking advantage of Deadlock's mod here. He actually has iron plates stackable up to 5 per item. Doesn't help you in inventories and stuff because it still stacks to the same amount. So, for example, I have 100 iron plate here. I would only have... because these things only stack up to 5, they would only stack up to 20 in my inventory. So you wouldn't actually get any more storage space here, but on a belt, it'll make all the difference. So that'll make compression hopefully much better. So I can do a whole lot of in-place upgrades here. So yeah, that's the plan. So let's go ahead and get started. I just want to make sure that everything is all set for... the armada being replaced in case disaster strikes again. Yep, we got 10 there. We have 50 of those, so that's good. How's our ammo situation? Oh, we are perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and just get rolling. The major thing I want to get set up are the intermediates in the space where science currently is. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and take those. I'm going to end up tearing this whole thing down, so yep, let's just go ahead. I can temporarily tear down the, what's it called, these radars. Why can't I think of the word? I've been using this area here for my sort of dump chest area. Ugh, I have like iron and copper ore. This is not happy. I'm going to put all the raw materials, I guess, right here. I think I had some raw materials here as well, but also some stuff. Things are getting mixed up. I had hoped for organization, but, best laid plans of mice and men. I'll keep 1 stack of those around. Okay, so don't need all these, especially, I don't need any of these. Just 1 is fine. I don't think I need cliff explosives in general, but let's just keep some around. Just keep a couple intermediates, don't need too much. But that's just in case I run across a particular situation I need to address. So here we go. We are in teardown phase, so that looks pretty good. This looks like a good inventory to carry around for a while. So let's just go ahead and plop that right about here and just shove a whole bunch of stuff into it. In fact, let's keep these plop because I just want to be able to pick up everything. I will at some point. Well, anyways. So, yep, everything just turned off, and that is to be expected. Oh, I can't wait until I have bots. So while I'm doing this, just to yammer a little bit about what I've been doing. So a few days ago, I pulled out of storage a microphone, so I'm using that. I also got a swing arm from Amazon and a little pop filter is what they call it, I think. Basically helps me helps my sound stay nice and smooth as I breathe across the microphone, basically. So yeah, I hope that this sounds mo better. Mo better. It wasn't that expensive, actually. It's quite nice. But I put a couple of filters on it, so I'm trying to help my voice sound nice and rich and baritone. Not quite doing the whole, like, super deep voice thing, but still, I want it to be pleasant enough that people can listen to it and not be like, oh my gosh, what's happening? There's so many artifacts in the sound, etc. All right, so here we go. It's no fun ever just tearing stuff down without bots. This just takes a lot of time. And I pretty much want to get this stuff going up as soon as possible. The next thing I'm going to set up is, in terms of science, will likely just be not artillery science, military science. Because that's going to be, well, the next battery of things that I get. The chemical science isn't going to be too hard to set up. If I remember correctly, the recipe is just, engines, circuits, and sulfur. So in principle, I could just crank that out and probably will, just to get that going. Because there is so much else to build, and I really want that going on in the background. But I also, like I said, my play style, I said this in the last episode, is to build stuff sort of at a consummate pace with one another so that nothing really gets too ahead of anything else. I find that my greatest struggles happen when I overbuild one aspect of my base and it completely overproduces and nothing else can keep up. And it's like, okay, well, great. It's like that one guy you see who goes and works out and, really works this one muscle group, but has like this one muscle group that's completely lacking. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? And you say it to that, and then he punches you and you regret talking to him. But, that's kind of how that goes. Anywho, oh my gosh, tearing all this down feels so dirty. It's like I built all this just a little while ago, but it served its purpose. So here we go. That's great. Okay, so let's see. I think I got enough rail stuff to make me satisfied for right now, if memory serves. The purpose there was just to get us jump started so that we can... Oh yeah, that's plenty for a little while. Just to get us jump started so I could, when my stone pile runs out or my coal pile runs out, or patch, whatever, that I could just start knocking that out. I also set up a very rudimentary and inefficient setup to make green circuits for a particular thing. I think those were rail signals and rail chain signals, but no longer necessary. And that embarrassment can now be successfully removed. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's great. Time to go drop stuff off. All right, so I'll leave you be. All right, so I don't know what this was, but I know what it is. Let's go ahead and just make one for just the science packs because that'll be really easy to get those out. Yeah, you are all of that. Perfect, actually. I really like how that turned out. Yep. Don't need any of this janky stuff because I have a whole box full of all the intermediates I'll need. All right, well, a lot of this stuff, when it comes time to do robo-ports and things, a lot of this stuff will just get sort of absorbed into the network. I do not plan on doing a full entire base full of robo-ports and things, in the sense that, like, I am going to be putting them up and using them, but it's not going to be, like, the main reliance. Like, I'm going to have mostly belts and trains and that sort of thing. And what I will do with the bots is I will use them for sort of the really complicated spots where it's like, it would be really nice if I could just have these things just be where they needed to be, So that's going to be how that goes. So yeah, let's take all these little snags out and just get a nice, smooth, clean looking belt going up here. All right, so... Yep, that's all that stuff. That sulfur, I do kind of want to get used as soon as possible. So I think I have an idea of how I'm going to build my science out. And it's a little unconventional in the sense that, you know, whenever I have in the past built buses, I have always tended to build stuff on one side of the bus. And the reason being is that if I ever needed to expand the bus, then I could do so. I was not hemmed in on one side. However, I planned ahead a little bit with this, and so I kind of have decided that if I screw up and accidentally need more bus space, then I'm going to have to just bite the bullet and do a different kind of upgrade, right? Because I really want to try to have, we'll say, planning ahead and having some sense of inflexibility, but at the same time being able to, I don't know, I just want to plan ahead and make sure that this stuff works without me getting too hemmed in. I think, having played it before, I won't get hemmed in. I think I can actually do this properly. But we'll see. We will see. Time will tell. So I'm getting rid of this because I have a fluid bus that's going to come up over there, and this is just going to be superfluous. All right, so green circuits are going there. You're going here. I just went ahead and snipped all this, so let's just fix this. Sorry that the beginning part of this is a bit tedious, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And I prefer to actually stream all the building of the bus because there are times when it's, you just, well, you know, I took 8 hours off and went and killed a whole bunch of biters or did this major improvement, and it's like, well, that's not really, I don't get to see all the fun stuff. And even if it's a bit like, you know, tedious, it's still important. You still just got to do it. But that being said, this is Factorio, so if you aren't used to a little bit of just, you know, elbow grease, maybe you're playing the wrong game. But I don't want to judge anyone. I'm not going to tell anyone they're playing their game wrong. All right, so here we go. Oh, too far away. Okay. And then I think green circuits are coming up this side. Yeah, there we go. So get this going, I think. Oh, hush. Can't reach. Oh, wait, you. Everyone must be even. Okay, just kidding. Here we go. So what I can do is... So my thought was that it really tends to be a real pain in the neck to bus around the science packs, right? Because you end up in the situation where you've got your bus. How do you actually fit another lane for science packs in there? And the solution is, well, just put your stuff on the bus. So let me go ahead and dump this stuff off. There will probably be more upgrades I need to do. I guess I need to go get my science labs and stuff. Let's get those real quick. But the thought is that I'm actually going to build a bunch of lanes to handle the science packs. So I'm going to have to do a quick audit of what science packs are needed. The reason I say that is because it's not obvious. There are a couple of... One of the things in this mod pack is that there are a lot of new science stuffs that you can do, right? A lot of new science packs. You're doing space science. And not all of it can happen on a planet's surface. There's a new kind of lab. I've never actually put one down, so I don't know what it looks like. But I do know that there is a new type of lab, and you cannot put it on a planet. Like, if you go to put it down, it says, no. You can only build this in space. So there is a limit to the number of science packs that I'm going to need on this bus, and it's not quite the same as vanilla. So we got the 4 here. So let me just look it up. Pack, I think, would be a good keyword. Production science pack, that one's still pretty standard. That one's pretty standard. This science pack is when things got a bit crazy. I could not process this on a terrestrial lab. Astronomic science pack probably sounds, because it requires science from space, or I guess rocket science pack, it's probably also having that same effect. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 for the red. 7 lanes of science packs that I'm going to need to account for in terms of space. So that's what I'll build out there. You are kind of a raw material. Let's see. So you are a ton of copper cable. And you know what? I don't really feel like thinking too hard about this. The only thing I really want to keep track of right now are the labs. And really, that's it. I mean, I guess the science, I already have a little thing here. I can just put those in there. But yeah, I don't want to sit here and organize too much because this is kind of like, as they say, polishing the brass on the Titanic. In that what you're doing is vaguely pointless. So, all right, let's do it. Pick these back up. We are good to go. I think I have some combinators. Yep, there they are. So I'm just going to put down 7 more. I don't care about, I'm just going to, it's pretty obvious which one's going to be which. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll just leave that there. And so what that means is that my science production is going to happen out here. So that means you guys need to skedoodle. Let's actually have you guys just, well, you're going to drive, you're not driving through the trees, you're going to drive around the trees, really? All right, very well. So actually, let's have you guys just start getting trees out of the way there for me. Yeah, so I'm going to start building that out. The problem is that if I build on the other side of this, I'm going to run into my smelting area. And I do plan on building straight up through here with smelting. So maybe my thought wasn't good enough. Maybe I did not. I gave myself all this extra room, and it turns out I'm going to get hemmed in. What a shame. What a shame. Okay, well, that's fine. I suppose what I could do is to, instead of building up this way, I could build down this way. Because everything is being mined down here. Did I really not power those things? Okay, let me do that while I'm thinking about it. I could just build down and have this part up here being my space science. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll finish up this belt of science, or sorry, this belt of steel, and then I'll start building in that area. And instead of building up to have my new smelting columns, I'll just build down. All right. Everyone's complaining about electricity. I don't have electricity. I'm full of bullets. Everyone's complaining. Okay, here we go. This is looking pretty good. All the miners are looking good. These are going to start dying pretty quickly. Some of those are on some very, very small bits of ore. So, yeah. I might have to coil this thing up a bit. So that might have to happen. But you know what? Whatevs. So I'm going to take this, and I think it should be symmetric. I'm not including the inserters and stuff, so let's just go ahead and rotate that around. That'll go here. Yeah, that looks good. I don't have to move that one. Very nice, very nice. So let's just plop that down here and get rolling. Oh, I put everything away, didn't I? Well, I didn't put quite everything away, but enough that I'm going to go back for it. All right, and so once that's done, that sort of bounds off almost my space. I'm gonna, it's quite the thought. I do want to have some room to belt out some things to the area out here where I'm going to be doing my oil. So I think I will actually do that. I'll leave a little bit of space here. This needs to get snipped. Again, because that's no longer necessary. And actually, I will pick you up because I'm going to use you at some point. I will put you on the bus when it is time, but it is not time. I do want some more landfill. I thought those would stack up to 500. It must have been some mod I had installed. Probably the mod that allowed me to manipulate water. But we'll see. Okay, so I was here for stone furnaces. Doot. Just give me a bunch. I don't need that many, but whatever. Now I just need some of the inserters. Which are, man, I knew I was going to have to pay a price when these things stopped being super organized. That's good. I got... Yeah, probably could use a couple more electric poles. Yeah, we're doing good. Okay. So we are looking pretty low on undergroundies. So I think before I get science set up, I am going to begin a much more serious mole once I get those intermediates taken care of. The 2 types of motors and the green circuits. It does make a much more interesting experience to have those motors there because, frankly, it screws with essentially every formula that I knew. Not every single one, but many of the things require motors or electric motors. Things also include, in their new recipes with this mod pack, things like, what's it called? Sorry, I'm having trouble doing 2 things at once. Oh my. Bricks and cement and things like that. Like large poles now require cement. I don't think they required cement in base vanilla, so that's interesting. It definitely means that you just need to bus that stuff. Like ultimately, it just turns into another bus lane, which means your whole experience gets a little bit rejiggered, and that's okay. You just gotta roll with the punches, as they say. But actually, I really like the effect of having to rethink stuff that I already knew, because it's kind of just, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Factorio, but part of the fun of doing this is just being able to refigure out how it works. Okay, so I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, I can just take this line and paste it as it is. So let's do it that. I don't think it's going to do me any good, though, because I don't have bots, but still, I can at least pay attention. But yeah, that's going to output there and draw from there. So yeah, it's fine. I think it's illustrated the fact that I screwed up something in the end here, so that's fabulous. Let's go ahead and fix that. Boop, and yeah, here we go. And then I'll put some power poles down, and then I'll get everything else all set up. Do I have enough long inserters? I bet I don't. Let's go ahead and just make a whole bunch of those while I'm doing this part. That is another very large theme in Factorio, which is to be doing many things at the same time. That is a good idea. Here we go. No, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right at all. I think this is wrong. So that's fine, but these are putting onto nothing because I had to put that power pole there. Let's see. So this might be a problem. Do I really just need... You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to churn a couple of these things out, because without those, I'm going to have a heck of a time getting these things powered. I think even with that. But no, if I make this middle row out of those, I should be fine. So yeah, let me leave this as it is. And then what I will do is I will just get these steel poles put down. So yeah, it's a solution. It's not flawless, but you know, it'll get me there. When I go to redo this entire setup, it's going to end up, I'm going to end up needing the ability to use these larger power poles. Probably some, what are they called? The substations. Because frankly, when you start building out the electric furnaces, it really pays to just give yourself the full advantages of the technologies that you've developed. Here we go. So now let's do this, and all of that should start springing to life, just like the Evanescence song. Bring me to life. Okay, we're done. So now let's go ahead and just repair this. So if I start building here, it should just build over everything. If you don't start building on a replacement, then it won't actually do that, but it does come in handy when you get it working. All right, so let's go ahead and do this and just keep going. Here we go. Actually, I think I can just do this. Oh, 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Fine, whatever. And why am I not getting any ore? Oh, yeah. Did I really do this wrong? Oh, I did this so wrong. I don't have to do all that. I can just pick up what's on the belt. I don't need to remove the belt. That's silly. And you're going to be, as my new plan has dictated, be the last stop here. So we're just going to take that back. And I don't think I need to do anything. I think that just fits. Okay. All right. So there we go. At some point I'll set this up, but like I said, that's going to be a little bit later. And there goes another one of these iron patch miners. So like that has 400 something left. So whatevs. All right, so that's looking pretty good. We now have the area where we're going to set up our new science packs ready to go. I do not want to mine that. I have cliff explosives. Do you guys hurt trees? That's a great big nope. Is it? Yeah, it's a nope. How big of a radius do you have? That's pretty big. It's just so hard to see see it for the trees. I can't see the cliffs for the trees. I try so hard for my humor. Okay. At least those cliffs are gone. So there are some more hidden in here, but they are really tough to see. I'm walking right up against one right now. I could use the map. That's actually not too bad, but that just feels cheap. Then again, if we're considering this from the perspective of the Factorio engineer, he can just see it, so it's not that big a deal. What I also find is amusing is that somehow the land is perfectly smooth and grassed over after he blasts it with this very oddly specific dynamite. Oh, can you just not go in there at all? Well, guess what? You can now. All right. That's probably good enough. Do I have any more cliffs up here of any note? I have these, but I can get those later. Okay, so I'm just going to, instead of manually chopping down all these dadgum trees, we're just going to go ahead and do this. And just gradually have you guys work your way through. In fact, I can probably do this. Have you go here, you go here, and then you go here, and then we can just march our way through the forest. No, I didn't select it. We can just like... What I would love to do is to create like a wall of these things that just goes through all this stuff. But, you know, you deal with what you got. I probably can just make some more. Ooh, I can make Mark IIs. That's pretty cool. 5 electric mining drills. Ugh. That's abysmal. All right. Well, you get those. Oh, you get those. You get those. Ah, what did I do? Click the wrong thing. So, yeah, let's just do this. And these things can't harm me, I don't think. See, if I like walk in their path, I'm not like dying. Strange, but you know, it is what it is. I'll take it. You go here, you go here, you go here. While you guys are doing that, I will actually help out and knock some trees down. What's really annoying is that this is going to increase the diameter of my pollution cloud. What was that sound? That was strange. It sounded like these things just like ran into each other or something. All right, for right now, that'll be enough. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. Speaking of not building too far ahead so that you don't have one part of your base outpacing the others. All right, so get these little stragglers out of here. Let's go ahead and work on the intermediates that I've been wanting to get set up for our bus. So what we got, there's the Armada casting light in every direction. Oh. I'm going to start putting some lights down. Let me go ahead and make a couple of those. I got no glass. Oh, that's easy enough. Boop. Make me like a bunch. I'll set them up pretty early in my mall here. So let's do this, this, and this. There we go. So good test is, yeah, we're doing good here. I need some more lights everywhere, but we'll get there. Okay, so as I said, this was just to kind of get started, and that I would get a bit more serious as time went on, but I really don't want to get too crazy here. What I will do is I will leave space, so I should still, oh, how do I go through my, I forget, hang on. So I still have in my blueprint paste thing, the ability to make that little, you know what? Let me just go ahead and make a blueprint of this. So that's going to not grab the tiles unless I do this. And then I can just nix all this stuff. And then get this. We'll go ahead and call this bus block length ruler thing. Never mind. Let's get rid of thing and ruler. Plus bus block length. Looks good. So enter there. Check. Let's go ahead and make a new... something just happened. Drop here to... Okay, fine. So let's go ahead and put that... Makes no sense. Okay, you know what? Makes no sense, person. We're just going to make a new blueprint book. And then we're going to rename you. Let's call it... What is this? 0.17 Space Exploration Stream. Novice isn't flat. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and do this. Mr. Doesn't make sense to put it there. It's not an empty string. It has stuff in it. Are you serious? It's not going to let me export that as a string because it has nothing. Oh, but it won't let me. Oh, yeah, hang on. Let's take a look at this. Oh, you know what? I bet I clicked off the stone. That's what's going on here. Okay, okay. You go in the chest of shame. Where's my... Oh, it's all the way back there. Fine. You know what? We're going to set up a new chest of shame. And you go in there. No one likes you. You're dumb. Okay, let's try this again with the not doing it boneheadedly. Boom. Include tiles. Get rid of those. Check. Now let's put you in the inventory. Now let's put you in my little book. And we are good to go. All right. So then here we are. Let's just go ahead and fill this in. And there we go. So I still haven't figured out why the key bindings will not work on the number pad here, no matter whether or not numlock has been hit or not, but you know what? It is what it is. All right, so this spot here is for all of the intermediates that I'm going to make for my bus in the deep, distant future. Now, let's go ahead and start with the very first thing on our bus that is not at all science or an intermediate. Let's start building the mall. Now we're going to start building a more serious construction area for like belts and things. Okay, so actually this is, let me do this. I'm going to, instead of blocking it off this way for my main mall, I'm just going to block it off a bit differently. So the way I had done this in my previous playthrough was to do this. Not playthrough, but I built like a mall. Was I made 4 lanes here. I gave myself 1 lane for pole, and then I gave myself a bunch of space for these. So boom, 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 boom. Then it was another pole, tile, and then 4 more belts. I don't know why I'm queuing that. I can just press 2. And then I did that just a few more times, actually. I think the second time I did this. Here we go. I think I had like a fluid bus going up the center, which created a complete nightmare. But it meant that my, though it was very complicated and spaghetti, it made sense for my logistics network. Here we go. So that's 2 major rows here. All right. Then I had the 4-lane fluid bus. And then here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So yeah, I'm kind of replicating something I've done before, but I'm going to build it afresh. So I'm not just going to slap down the blueprint and be very boring. So you'll get to see me build a pretty interesting bus. Hopefully it's interesting. And I'm going to do so with an eye towards making sure that I have the things I need in order for the bus to build itself set up. So here we go, giving myself plenty of space. So this was my military column where I did all of my ammos and various sundry explodey things that biters do not like. And then finally, we had the space column. So this column is where I built all of my stuff. I even had silos automated. That was pretty cool. Boom, and then boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is how much space I need on the bus for just my mall area, right? And then other intermediate building stuffs over here will come into play. So the nice thing about this is that all I have to do is just build intermediates after this, and I will be able to have a whole bunch of stuff. The only problem is that I do not have the ability to make very rapidly any of those things. I suppose I can probably like increase production in some areas or not. But yeah, ultimately that's going to be a whole thing. So yeah, all right. Now let's go ahead and, so now that we've got that set up, let's actually start building things. So what I want to do is I gave myself roughly 6 tiles here. So make that a little bigger. Yeah, let's just do this. Here we go. And so this area here is the no man's land that I had sort of built. It's going to essentially be where I do all of my belt box unstacking and any belt insanity that I need to do to get stuff to actually feed properly into here. And yeah, that's cool. So, all right, that's set up. And this other area here was kind of the same way. I'm just going to go ahead and build it out. I'm almost out of brick, aren't I? That's okay. I can just get some more. Lots of brick. Brick. How are we doing? Oh yeah, we're doing good. La la la. That is one nice thing about having this stuff on your bus is that you can just be like, okay, let's go get a whole bunch of brick and concrete and whatever else. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and build this out. So again, I'm doing a bit of over preparation here, and that's perhaps a bit undesirable, I admit. But at the same time, I don't want to be caught out in the cold, having built something that I don't want there and have to pay for it later. Hey, guess what? Explode. I got some news for you too. It's boom. Oh, wow. All right, let's see if I can get all that. Almost so close. Oh man, that is so loud. Okay, all right, well that's good. So, cliffs are clear. Goodbye. Now, we're just gonna build up this next little piece here, and we should essentially be ready to go. Now, like I said, the first thing I want to set up in the mall are the belts. Now, I want to make sure that I have plenty of materials for that belt. So I'm actually going to set up in-place creation of, what's it called? What are they called? Gears. I don't know why I could not think of the word gears. And we're out of that stuff. Oh, well, whatever. So we're going to make some gears and have those things just sort of pump out a bunch. So that means that iron is going to be very crucial. Let's see. So let's go ahead and just make... Man, I don't know how much is necessary. I eventually want to make blue gears. Those are blue gears. What am I saying? Blue belts. So express. Here we go. You guys require just an acre of these things. 10 gear wheels, 80 gear wheels, 10, 40. Yeah, there's just a ton. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a bunch. So let's go ahead and actually scoot these out just a bit. I'll give myself a power pole layer because right now I'm still using these. Power poles are going to be set up pretty quickly because that is absolutely going to be necessary in order to make this work. So right now, let's just set up 6 of these making gears. I don't want to overbuild this too quickly, but I really, it's going to be pretty soon time to build up red belts. So that's going to be good there. The thing is that in order to actually get this doing what I want it to do, so let's actually kick this out a little bit here. Is that enough? Yeah, let's make it one more. In order to get this to work, I've also got loaders, and I never accounted for them when I did the other giant mall. And that's actually by design. I wanted to see what it would be like to set up all the stuff needed for just the Earendel mod set. So this is going to be a little more difficult, but not that much more, because it doesn't look like, it looks like these require yellow belts, and those are simple enough to make. These do not require yellow belts. So that's actually pretty good. They do, however, require stacking belt boxes. So I think there's only 3 of these things. If I go into here and I say belt box, there's only 3, right? So I'm only going to need to set up a trio of them here. So let me actually set up the grid that's going to end up being my whole setup for all of my little doodles. Here we go. So you make belts, and then you make, let's have you be, let's look at the gears over here. You don't need gears, but you don't need gears either. All right, so I'm going to be bringing up motors on one of these, and I'm going to be bringing up motors for this as well, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, shnikes. What do I need all these gears for? Oh, yeah, all the reds. That's right. I'm like, the yellows don't require gears. So, you require those. You require those. So what I will do is I will have these things set up. Let me make sure this is all in one chunk. It is, so that's good. So we can just do this. Boom, 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 boom. And then you're going to go into red belt. And then red belt is going to feed in the same fashion to everything else. Now, if I remember correctly, I didn't like... there was some problem with putting things right on the center line like this. I think the power situation got a bit funky, so let me offset these by a bit. Yeah, the power situation is very not fun right now. Of course, I can use steel to build new power poles, and I will very, very quickly. And indeed, I'm also going to build the next level of assemblers here. But for right now, we're just going to have to make do with what we've got. All right, so you require the yellow little guys anyways. I'm definitely going to have to remember and be very careful about enforcing this, limiting these boxes. In fact, I may just go ahead and do that right now. So you don't require red belts, do you? No, you don't. So, and do you require red belts? No, of course not. So you stop being a thing that exists. Okay, let's put you down here, and then you aren't ready for anything just yet. But you are. So you're going to be my compact loader. You're going to be that. I will have to build those on site, won't I? Because I don't have any way of getting these up here without doing some kind of crazy belt thing. And I said, maybe I'll do a crazy belt thing. I like crazy belt things, but not too much. Let's go ahead and make sure that we know what's required for the loader here. It does not require green or blue belts. All right, so yeah, it's just straight up lubricant and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's no big deal. The last thing I'll need are stacking belt boxes, which require a bunch of stuff. So you guys are going to have something building. You know what I could do? I don't want to take up the space doing this. It really seems like I'm overbuilding it. All right, so let me just back this up a bit. What I can do is I can make a thin layer here, right? And then this makes... I already have gear wheels, so I don't need that. You can make some, what are they? We're at motors. Here we are. You make regular belts, and then you make this and feed into here. There we go. And then you guys will be the express stuff, and I don't know what you are. You can just stop existing. Yep, that looks fine. This looks like a good belt area here. Now, these things right here, you don't require anything in particular aside from circuits and such. So I'll have to what am I saying? I'll have to belt over some circuits there, but yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so that's kind of for the future. In the meantime, you can actually, because you're just going to be iron, you guys I can repurpose for some very simple things. I only need a couple of gears right now being made, honestly. I'm going to have one full belt of iron coming in, so let me go ahead and actually arrange for that to happen right now. I think, other than that full belt of iron, though, I think everything else ends up being half belts of stuff. Because there's just so much variety needed to be belted in to actually make all this. So let's go ahead. Now, you are going to be splitting off here. This is where the shenanigans would normally occur. Oh, do I really need to move everything up like a tile or two? I thought this is where my belt shenanigans happens, right? This is the travel portion, and this is the belt shenanigans portion. Okay, so belt shenanigans. Here we go. That doesn't feel good. That's right. Here we go. Here we are. So then you guys are going to feed in here like so. For right now, I'll put in 2. I know that I'll have to do some more in-place upgrades to fast inserters and all that stuff, but whatever. For right now, it's fine. You require no gears. You guys are the ones that require gears. In fact, I don't even need to worry about building out gears right now. It'll just underground its way up there. Okay, but it's good that it's there, and I have it mentioned in my mind for the future. In the meantime, you make pipes, and you make underground pipes. This is going to be very, very just rudimentary setups here for a little while. So here, and then here, and then this. Okay, so I should have power coming up this side here. This is where a lot of power poles are going to live when I build this out. Here we go. Oh, I'm so excited. This feels so good. It feels so good to build like your main bus and build stuff that's meant to last for at least a little while longer. So we already have a whole bunch of these things made, so I'm not going to bother making too much more. But this bus is going to require a whole bunch of pipes. Let's also just do another simple one here. You can just make some more boxes, although I think I'm almost completely out of the iron box phase. So that's good. Let's limit you again, just like the other ones. What can you make with just iron that's incredibly simple? It's not just an intermediate. I think I'm kind of out of luck here. Yeah, out of luck. Luck is not mine right now. So that's okay, though. Really, it's fine. You just take up space. You'll be a gear eventually, as will you. Okay, so let's get this going here. So let's first off hook up some power, so those blinkies don't drive me insane. Here we go, and then we'll do the same thing out here. Good enough. Doesn't have to be flawless. I just want it to stop blinking. Okay. So this is going to be the upgrade in the future stuff, but that is my belt area. Let's feed it. You require iron and belt. So let's get you going. Oops, here we are. I cannot do this. My life is hard. No one understands. There we go. So there's that. And we are also going to need, you need iron plate. So we're just going to belt you through here. The whole reason I put these things as far away as I did was so that I can feed the warren of belts that is going to be this entire factory here. Because I absolutely am going to need to have just a ton of stuff fed. All right, so I bet I'm going to put my two motors on here, electric and regular motors. So let's go ahead down here and set that up. We want that to come through here. And so that's going to be a little problem here, but that's okay for right now. We'll just do this. Yeah, the reason being is that I can't so easily just get past this little thing here. And it's okay if the inputs are a bit uglish. I just don't want to run out of these things before I have the thing, these undergroundies, before I have the thing set up to actually make them. All right, so is that 3 or 4? Well, I guess I can just do 4. There we go. Okay. Things are hard. Let's see. So I need to have you go through here, I think. Usually I put you 1 forward. That's what it is. And then you go here. Let's get the full use out of you. And then let's do this. Boom, boom. Then here we go. Feed you there. And we should be good. Now, I think... yeah, I don't care. We're about to build some. I'm excited. I am so excited. I cannot wait until I get this thing started. Oh. So... you know, when you play these games, you say the next time will be better. Well, this is my next time, sort of. So I'm super excited. Now, do you need motors? You do. So this iron is going to be a bit of a problem because I need to somehow sneak past there. But not too bad. Not too bad. What I can do is this. So let's have you go under through there. And then you go like this. And what I can do is actually just joust you. So... you'll go here to here. It's a bit unpleasant to look at, but actually that's okay. That's not too bad. Here we go. So you need some motors. Let's go ahead and light it up. So I have a feeling that I'm going to have to make rows of these things in order for it to look good, but only for right now. I just had a little flash there. That means that my whole light situation needs to get less awful. So let's do this. I'm going to put lights on the outside of my little area here. Oh, I guess it turned back on. Okay, well anyways. Yeah, so I'm going to have probably power poles like this. If I remember correctly, it was something like that when I did my bus. It was just straight across like this, and that hit most things. So, yeah, whatevs. Not super important. Like I said, these are going to be replaced. And the one thing is, when I made that main mall thing, what I ended up doing was using nothing but like beginner materials, because what I wanted was it to be possible to build it no matter what stage you were in. It didn't make sense to me to actually not include blue belts and stuff, which I think I regret now. All right, so there you go, and then there you go, and we should start having stuff now. So let's limit the heck out of you, and the heck out of you, and the heck out of, well, yeah, we're in that phase, so yeah, just give me a whole bunch of yellow belt. Make sure these guys are, that's already full, that's going to be full almost instantly, so we are good. In fact, let's actually have you outputting to a box so that I have another source of gears ready to go when it's time. Yeah. In fact, let's have, well, do I have filter inserters? I do, and I can make 2. All right, fine. Ooh, that's going to be there for a minute. But what I'm doing is I'm just going to set up another, earlier I had set up reserves of intermediates, and I think that's a good idea. In fact, that's what you're going to be. You're going to be an intermediate reserve. You're going to make me iron sticks. So here we go. Set that up. And let's actually copy, paste, make sure these are all set up. Good. Now we put these in, have you set up to pick up motors, and you pick up electric motors. Where are you? Right there. And then you pick up electric motors, blue ones. There we go. And that should be fine. Okay, so we now have all the intermediates that we need set up here, except for copper cable, but that's going to come up pretty shortly. That's looking pretty good. Okay, now we've re-accomplished what we had accomplished not too long ago. So that's pretty good there. All right, so that being said, what are the other things that we need in order to make the base grow? Well, I'm pretty not happy with the power pole situation that I'm in, and pretty much want it to change. The thing is that copper plates don't get used for very much. Oddly enough, they get used for some things, but they might not as much as you might seem. You don't need that many signal receivers. Yeah, repair packs and solar panels are good. Steam turbines, a bunch of nuclear stuff, burner labs, and then some space stuff that I don't know anything about. And then just one-off items like the pistols and machine guns. I guess the ammos, that's true. But a lot of one-off items. And the intermediate batteries and copper cable. So those are pretty much the uses for copper. So I'm only going to have a half belt of copper coming up here, believe it or not. The other thing is, I believe it was bricks and glass that kind of go together. Like there's a lot of things that require glass, but also require brick. So I think I might end up doing like a belt of those, a half belt of those. So like the oil refinery requires brick and glass. The chem plant requires brick and glass. I don't think the electric lab requires brick, no. But the fuel refinery does. The Meteor Point Defense doesn't. That requires concrete. Okay, well, that's fine. And then I think that those are the majority of them. So yeah, that's actually quite a good life hack, is to put these things when you make doubled up lanes like this one right here of things that will benefit you the most, and just let your little tangled mess here be as simple as possible. All right. Gosh, now what? You know what? Let's make some power poles. So power poles require iron sticks and copper cable for the iron one. And then that is a component for these guys here. Oh, I guess the big electric pole doesn't require that, so that's good. But yeah, copper cable is needed for this one, and this one. And if I'm not mistaken, it will eventually be needed in substations. So let me make sure. Yes, you require lots of copper cable. Good gravy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little thing making copper cable locally. So I'll put this off because I don't know where these things are going to output exactly, and I want to make sure that I get enough space for them. And in fact, I think because of what I'm about to do, I'm going to give you 2 tiles so that I can have 2 belts of materials going through here. You are in the way. Goodbye. So I need sticks for this, and then I need sticks for that, and sticks for this, and do I need sticks for substation? I don't know why they called them iron sticks. They could have said rod or even iron dowel or something, but stick? Really? This does not require them. So, okay, that's good. So we at least need this to come up here all this way. In fact, I think you are needed an aisle right here because I'm going to make loaders. Oh, that's right. I can set that up. And you require green circuits, so that I can actually automate as well. This is wonderful. I can actually start making these belt boxes, which means that I can start setting up the base the way I want it so that I can put in all of my unstacking, whatever jerry-riggery that's going to be needed there as soon as I can. So that's actually quite nice. Gosh, this is so exciting. Here we go. So you require all sorts of stuff. I'm going to try to not to draw off these lanes here because I want them to split off. I want to basically be able to choose when they do that. So do I have enough room for this? Let's see. You require iron, and you require iron, and so do you. You don't, you do. Okay, so I'm just going to have the iron split off. Say right... I could go here. Something doesn't feel good, though. I feel like I'm going to need some more stuff, because this requires gears, and I'm going to have gears sort of undergrounded all the way up here. And this is essentially where the gears are going to live. And you require gears, everything right here requires gears. Well, I suppose that if I don't do it too often, I can just draw off here. But I really don't like... I really like being able to control what draws off these feeds. But for right now, it's fine. Again, this might be something to look at when it comes time to refactor some of this when I put the power poles down, but it doesn't really matter. The new power poles down. Okay, so you require... I require some long inserters for this. Let's go ahead and just crank a bunch of those out. That's another thing that's going to be necessary to build this is long inserters because Jiminy Christmas. That's a whole thing. So, yep, you go here, and then... Well, why did I have this here if I don't need that? You know what? Maybe I don't have gears. I'm going to have gears up here anyway, so no gears are going to come through. But I don't need you anymore. I learned it from you. All right, so squish. So I'll have gears coming up here. Somehow I'm going to have to get you red circuits. That's going to be a gas. I'm not even sure what that means, but it just sounds so vaguely old-timey and awful. Huh?
Sounds so what, 1960s?
1960s, that's right. It's like, we're going to have a gas. Are you telling me you're going to fart a whole bunch? I mean, I don't, that's, I suppose that's like a thing to be elated about. It still works. It's like good. Anyways, how am I going to work this? So, you know what? Let's go ahead and just set up the gear production here because you know what? We just need it to get solved. Oops, that's not what I want. Here and here. Here we go. Yep. Cannot wait until I get bigger power poles. That's going to be so soon. But again, I am chasing a shiny. All right, so we are now out of those, but that's okay because I just set up production of those things. Oh, and I didn't give them an output box. So, in case you're wondering, I totally meant to do that. I am lying. Through my teeth. Oh, and I didn't even limit you. And you don't have iron plates somehow. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. This is the spaghetti. So this part is going to be like pure, delicious spaghetti. We're talking grade A primo. What on earth were you possibly thinking spaghetti? This entire area, like if at some point I will actually show the blueprint, I think near the end of the stream, I'll just show you guys the madness I was talking about. And yeah, for those of you in stream, I'm going to actually do that right now because guess what? It is the end of the YouTube episode, so I love you guys on YouTube. But this is it for today. I'm trying to record these things a bit ahead of time so that you guys get a regular, steady stream of content. So I will publish something tomorrow, and let me go ahead and pull up the other thing, and then I will call this an episode. So here is my Space Mall. And that's fine. I don't care. So yeah, this thing is just a complete basket case. I built a bus that wasn't quite what I wanted. Had just little infinity things pumping out stuff. Here's my fluid bus. Here's my science bus. And wow, that is really going to drive everybody insane. Let me go ahead and turn that off. There. Okay. So yeah, I built a whole bunch of gears being pumped out here, and then you can see all the different belts and everything. So here's the bus. This, you might, or the mall, you might think this is it. This is not. I had to recopy it over here just so that I could make sure that I didn't botch anything. But yeah, this is every single item that you need more than one of in this. It is protected by, from meteors, it's radared, it's fully sourced with bots, although not very thickly either. I would line this with actual bot roboports if I was doing this for real. And you have a couple of places like this. Like, what on earth is this craziness right here, you might say? Well, that craziness right there is what you get when you try to set it up so that when you hook things in, it just starts with it just starts working immediately. So if you hook in a transport belt full of flying robot frames, you are going to get robots delivered to a roboport, inserted in the roboport, and used in the network. There's also minimal use of roboports networks in this for necessity. Everything that I could, I belted in with a handful of exceptions. Those exceptions tend to be down here in places like space science where I needed to somehow get assembling machines over here. So yeah, that was fun. But this is essentially what I am going to try to rebuild one way or another with the thing I'm making right now. And it's just going to be in pieces. I'm not going to do this all at once. That would just be insane and just hold up the entire stream. And, well, just look at this. Just look at this. This would be a lot simpler had I things like blue undergroundies, right? Or even red undergroundies, or even power poles that weren't the lowest quality power pole, right? But, you know, I was building with a crazy goal in mind and I wanted to accomplish something, and boy, didn't I just ever do that. But anyways, that is it for this stream. So, sorry, that's it for this YouTube episode. So thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Be good. And, oh yeah, I got to click this thing, don't I? And here we go. We're clicking the